Good evening, Canada. We are back with our brand new episode of our weekly talk show, Voice of Canada. Your host, Asphandiar Wadiwalla, and my charming co host is Patricia Pollack. Today, we have a very intelligent and dynamic guest. He is none other than our retired citizenship judge, Rafiq Rokerya. Welcome to our show and hope you will enjoy our show with us.
Thank you, Mr. Wadiwalla. Thank you for inviting me. I'm Rafiq Rokerya. Thank you for inviting me on Voice of Canada.
Thank you. Go ahead.
I am your female co-host, Patricia Pollack for Voice of Canada, along with our host, Asphandiar Wadiwalla. Welcome to our weekly talk show host. Mr. Rokerya, inform us and our viewers at the age you came to Canada as an immigrant on a permanent resident with your family.
Yes. I came in 1973, October 3rd, 1973.
You are a very senior.
50 years ago.
Yeah, I'm 25 years.
I came to Canada with my parents, mother, father, brother, and sister.
Very good.
My elder brothers were here already. My elder brother came in back in 1955.
Oh, wow.
When I was born.
Wow.
He came for World Jamboree as Boy Scout and he loved Canada. He said, I'm not going back. So he brought us in 1973. We came as a landed immigrant, permanent residents. We landed in Montreal. And when I came in October, the university admission was already done. So I had to wait till January to get into Concordia University, which was a formerly Sir George William University. And Sir George William University merged with Loyola College and came up with the Concordia University. So I got into a 4-year degree program, a Bachelor of Commerce, major in accounting and finance. So I finished my degree back in, started in 74, finished in 1978. I lost my father in 1974.
He was here?
He was here with us after 8 months on July 14, 1974. He had a massive heart attack and we lost him, unfortunately. But that was God's wish at the age of 56. He was very young. So I had no choice but to cut my studies to part-time. And I started working in a factory.
Wow.
My first job was in a factory, and you won't believe it. It was at a minimum wage at that time in Montreal, $1.60 an hour.
Wow.
No way.
Yes.
How can you survive in 167?
My paycheck was probably $65 to $80 a week.
A week. Oh,
a week.
Wow.
So I was supporting my brother and the family to run the expenses. I was studying in the evenings. So running, and my job was, it was a textile industry in Montreal on Lacadie Boulevard. Montreal is a textile heart. I was pick up the orders from the packing department, put on my trolley and push the trolley all the way to the shipping department, give them the box, come back with empty trolley and do this thing. This was all day, 8-hour shift. So I survived, alhamdulillah, touch wood, and I saved enough money for myself and also supported the family. And I was on and off studying at Concordia. I also went to McGill University in Montreal and doing some other courses which were required for CGA, Certified General Accountant program. And I was getting exemption at Concordia also for that. So I walked away although I lost some time, but I accelerated myself in the summer courses. And I finished my degree, Touchwood, in 1970.
Rafiq Rokerya, you belong to a Muslim Memon family. So first and foremost, as we are all in Canada, so explain about who are Memons and where they belong and how they originated into India and Pakistan.
Very good question. So you want to know the history of the Memons. Memons are converted Muslim from the Hindu sect back in interior of Sindh.
It's a knowledgeable answer.
So at one point, back in 300-400 years ago, the interior Sindh Hindus were going to Somnath Mandir for worship to Somnath Mandir, and there was 30 or 40 families. They were traveling in a caravan. So at night they will stop over, and during the day will continue the journey. So at one night when they were when they came nearest to Thatta and Hyderabad area of the Karachi of Pakistan Sindh area, they stopped by the caravan, and the ladies were serving the food and looking after the children. And then after they wrapped up everything, time to retire to sleep, they saw a little bit distance area under the tree, a old man with a white beard, white dress, white hat, sitting there. So the lady says, why don't we give this leftover food to him? I don't know if he's eaten or not. That's why you see Memons are very hospitality people. They will feed you, they
And
invite
generous,
you,
generous
and very
people.
generous. So they brought the food to him, and he kept the food eat. So in the morning when they were packing up and leaving, so that's old
how.
gentleman called these people and say, "Oh, who are you? Where are you coming from? Where are you going?" So they explained, "We are from such and such village, and we are going for Somnath Mandir for the worship." So he said, "If you're going there, and thank you very much for your, God, may Allah bless you. If I bring that Somnath Mandir here, what would you say? What would you do?"
Mhm.
He said, "Impossible. Somnath is our God. We worship him. So if you bring, then you must be more powerful and superior to that Somnath. It's impossible." He said, "No. I have a miracle and power given to me bestowed upon by Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I can do that." They said, "Impossible." They said, "Sit down, everybody, and close your eyes." When they closed their eyes, they literally in illusion saw the Somnath Mandir.
Mhm.
So they said, "Wow, he must be more superior." So they immediately made the sijda on him. He said, "No, don't make the sijda on me. It's Almighty Allah.
Almighty Allah and
Okay,
God, yeah, we bow
and
to God.
I'm his servant." And look, the miracle happened in Somnath Mandir. He said, "Now what we do?" He said, "Become the Muslim, convert." So they took the bath on him. They became the Muslim, and he said, "Now we the purpose is defeated. We are not going anymore to Somnath, and if we go back to our village, the other leftover village tribe people will kill us. So what do we do?" So he said, "Look, I'm going to give you a lakab, a title called Momin,
Mhm.
and you spread anywhere in the world, and my prayer is there with you
To protect
on
you.
this moment, that you will be very, very successful."
Wow.
So from there, they scattered to Hyderabad, Kutch,
Kutch, yeah.
Bombay, Gujarat area, Marwar, Katiyar, and all that. And that's how they
And that time it was United India.
united India. And they were businessmen. Their title was Momin, and from Momin, the word twisted as Maiman.
Mhm.
So this is the origin of Maiman. So the Maiman belongs to Sindh of Pakistan and the Gujarat and Maharashtra area and the Kutch area of the India, and that's where they gather. And from there, some of them went to Africa. Some of them, when the Pakistan was created in 1947, they came to Pakistan,
yeah.
and they were industrialists, they were businessmen, and they are very successful. At one point, the Pakistan economy was controlled by 22 families, and they were Maiman families from Karachi. And they
No,
were
not all 22. We were also there.
Okay, majority of the
We were
22
also there
families were
because we
Maiman.
also came very nearer to 22,
Yeah.
being in politics and the very...
I'm talking from business community.
Okay, business
So-
only.
So business, all textile industries, cement industry, jute industries were all controlled and run by Maiman families. So that's how the moments to Maiman started, and they scatters. So that's the history of the Maiman.
Thank you. Mr. Rafiq Rokerya, my question is continuing of the number 5. Tell something about your immediate family.
My immediate family, touch wood, I'm married, and I have beautiful 3 daughters, 2 grandchildren. I enjoy them. I love them. I have 2 beautiful son-in-law, and my third daughter, the eldest one, she's in Ottawa. She's working for Global Affairs. She speaks 10 languages. And
Lovely.
she's a very high-profile person in Global Affairs.
Yeah, I've met your children, your wife and your immediate family. They are quite learned, and really, you all are really good family.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
So we also read from your bio that you have won many awards as well. Please inform us of one of and our viewers to know how much decorated man you are in Canada. Mr. Rokerya, we read from your bio that you do a lot of community service here in Canada. Can you tell our viewers a little bit about that?
It just started all about 25, 30 years ago. I started initially with the Pakistani and Muslim organizations, especially the mosques. Being a professional accountant, I volunteered myself as an accountant, so I ran a lot of treasurer positions. If there was a problem to get the CRA registrations, I was involved into that, modify the constitution or bylaws to meet the mainstream requirements. So I was involved more of administrative duties, security duties, fundraisings. So that was started with the mosque and the Pakistani community. As I went further, then I was involved in the community at large, in a sense, from the St. James Food Bank, City of Mississauga, Region of Peel. Currently, I'm a John Howard Society Vice President Board of Directors, of all volunteer services, you name it. I'm a active person. I cannot sit at home and do nothing. I like to be mentally, physically, emotionally involved. And what I learned is when I came to Canada, I got from fellow citizen. So when I graduated and I started working and I got the name in the community and a profession, I decided it's time to give back to the community.
Thank you, Mr. Rokerya. Now, I would like to ask you that recall the memory of 2012. That was a golden memory that we got the first Diamond Jubilee, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II's Diamond Jubilee Award medal together in the badge of 30 people, prominent people from Mississauga.
True.
And as the Governor General was in Ottawa, so it was performed by our then MP Brad Butt,
True.
who was Mississauga Streetsville Member of Parliament in Ottawa. And at the same time, we all got the certificate also from Governor General David Johnston. So would you recall that old
Yes.
memories we had?
I recall very well. I remember we went to the Legion's office,
True.
and in 2012 we got, and this is the Diamond Jubilee medal I have. You have one also, and we shared the merry moment, and that was a very
It was a
memorable-
golden era.
golden era, and it was a very memorable day for me. If you look up at the front page of Mississauga News, my mom was alive at that time, and she was holding a medal like this. Okay,
I do recall that
And-
picture.
and the photographer Mississauga News snapped it right away, and it became the front page of the Mississauga News
Oh,
and Brampton
beautiful.
Guardian and all of the
Because we were,
papers. So
What-
that was me and Usher Ashby Wadiwalla and other 28 recipients. It was our good gesture, good service to the community. We were honored and bestowed upon
and that was the era of our former Prime Minister Stephen Harper.
Stephen Harper. That's
You
very
know, we
true.
still miss him a lot. That was the golden era. And I wish that period again repeats here in Canada,
True.
where when the inflation was hardly 1%.
That's very true.
The
Right.
golden era,
Good, go ahead.
right? We also read from your bio that you have won other awards as well. Please inform our viewers about your decorated honor in Canada.
So prior to Diamond Jubilee Medal, I was honored to receive a Distinguished Service Award by Certified General Accountants. That was my first one. Then after that, I got FCGA fellow. There are only 400 fellow out of 40,000 members, Certified General Professional Accountants. Then when the CGA, CMA, and CA merged, I was also honored to get the CPA, fellow CPA, which is the fellow certified professional accountants, because it's no longer CGA, CMA, or CA. So I was honored that. Then I received the Diamond Jubilee Medal. I was also honored to receive the Platinum Jubilee Medal of also the Queen. That pin which you're seeing on my chest right now on my left hand
That's
side.
a pin.
That's a pin.
That's a blazer pin.
That's a blazer pin. What else I got? I got my 35-year service medal from the Public Service of Canada, because I've been when I graduated in 1978, I was teaching in Concordia University accounting, and I was hired on campus by Canada Revenue Agency, the federal service government. In 1981, they brought me to Toronto, and then I got 35 years public service medal also by Trudeau.
Thank you, Mr. Rokerya. You have forgotten one award which we again got, both of us got, from our former MP from the historical event of Mississauga Streetsville, Timothy Street Medal.
Timothy, right? That's true.
You know,
yeah.
that has got a long history behind it. And I do recall that you were also a recipient, and I, as well as I am also the recipient of the same. So that award you forgot to mention.
True. Thank you for reminding.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. We are also aware that you are truly fond of traveling. Please tell us one of your favorite places.
Yeah, he
due
has
to people
traveled a
and
lot.
culture.
Like me, he has traveled a lot. He has usually is on travel and he goes along well.
I love because we live in the cold country, snow. I love snow and beautiful country, Canada. But sometimes, you need some vitamin D. So I like to travel
To the tropical
twice,
countries.
the Caribbean countries, tropical weather, to get some more extra vitamin D when I deplete a little bit. So I love Punta Cana. My wife, she loves Cuba. So we debate. So we say, okay, why don't in November time we go to Punta Cana, and in March we will go to Cuba,
yeah.
and in the summer we'll take a cruise. So that's how we. But now
That's
we are after COVID. We couldn't travel in COVID, so now we're diverting. We've been to Turkey and Asia, Singapore, Malaysia, France, Europe, Spain, Morocco, you name it. So I pick one country and I go. Right now, I'm getting a temptation to go in December
And
again.
you have forgotten to inform our viewers that your spouse is from Singapore.
Yes, my wife is from Singapore. Originally, her parents, her grandparents from Pakistan, but her parents were born in Malaysia, and she was born in Singapore.
Wow, that's a lovely background.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll be taking a short break and we'll be returning soon. Welcome back after a short break in our weekly talk show, Voice of Canada. Your host, Asphandiar Wadiwalla, and our female co-host is Patricia Pollack, who is also an author of a book, Manifest the Life You Want by Donald Trump. So if anybody wants to read that book, it's a very interesting book, what she has written. So we encourage you to read. It's freely available on Amazon and various other places. Thank you. Mr. Rafiq Rokerya, after doing so much for the country, working in CRA, working in the audit departments and a lot, now you have got a very big plans to serve on the public platform, and you are thinking of contesting our forthcoming federal elections, which is around in 2 years' time, from our conservative riding of Mississauga Streetsville. Will you throw some light on that announcement?
Yes, thank you, Aspie. Upon request, pondering upon some thoughts, being a civil servant for almost 40 years, understanding the system of the government, advice of my good friends, I have decided to put my name as a nominee candidate in the next nomination, which is going to be next year, hopefully, from the Conservative Party, Federal Conservative Party, from the Mississauga Streetsville riding. So I will need all your support, whatever you can, in whatever way. If you live in the riding, become the member. If you don't, then you can volunteer our team. You can support financially, whatsoever. Please get in touch with me, or please get in touch with Aspie.
Welcome. For that, I think you'll be doing a good job. So go ahead.
Okay, my question is related to you contesting the federal riding from Mississauga. What issues have you noticed from the people of the riding that are sitting the MP have failed?
It's not specifically to the Streetsville riding, it's across the board, but I will narrow down in Streetsville and Mississauga. We have a housing crisis.
But that's the whole country is
That's
facing.
why I say it's a global
It's
thing.
not only for Mississauga Streetsville. Our riding is quite a healthy riding where people are quite well off. You won't be finding much poorer or low income tax paying in Mississauga Streetsville.
I understand that, but still there's some homeless issue. We have some food bank issues. People can't afford to buy the grocery, the cost of inflations, prices are skyrocketing.
Visa issues are there.
Yeah,
immigration
I'm coming
issues.
to that in a minute. So these are the issues when you ask me a question. Like I say, it's a global pandemic problem. It's a global across Mississauga, but specifically, if you look up from the federal jurisdiction problem, is the visa issue. Anybody coming from Pakistan, a processing time
Is much
was
more.
600 days.
Wow.
600
But
days.
why? What are the reasons?
Red tape. What's the reason is that first of all, 3-4 years ago, the Canadian High Commission was closed down temporarily from Islamabad and moved to UK, England, and also in Abu Dhabi. So the applications are going all over. By the time they make it, and then go through different
So
scrutiny.
my question is related to you contesting the federal riding in Mississauga. What issues have you noticed from the people of the riding within that city?
There are various issues. There's a global issues like a housing crisis, food cost of inflation, food. But specifically, I talk in our writing is we have immigrants and we have immigrants from all over, but especially from Pakistan. The visa process time was 600 days.
Wow.
The reason being why it was 600 days because prior to COVID-19, the embassy in Islamabad, Canadian embassy in Islamabad, was closed down temporarily, and the workload was shifted to Abu Dhabi and UK, England. So by the time the application reached to the staff, there were some delays and there were some issues
But
also.
that is not unimaginable. That 600 days is practically 2 years.
Yes. So if you get married, if you go there, get married, and you're excited and you want to live with your spouse, the spouse doesn't join you for 2.5, 3 years. So I'm very happy that our Senator Salma Atallah John raised this issue in the Senate. Then the Minister of Immigration got involved, and now we won't believe it. It's 45 days process.
But what was the Muslim MPs doing regarding this issue?
I don't know what they did, but I know Senator Salma Atallah, being a Muslim and Pakistani, raised the issue, and she took a bold step. And Alhamdulillah, touch wood, through her efforts and a few other community members, the time was cut down from 600 to 45 days.
Lovely. Thank you, Mr. Rokerya. Mr. Rokerya, I would like to have your views on COVID-19. The world suffered about 2 years with COVID-19 infection, which is a pandemic. So give us the post and pre-COVID times, how you faced it and why still we are suffering even in 2023. So many issues we are facing.
Pre-COVID, everything was running good, smoothly. We can afford the rents, we can afford the groceries, the cost of living was
That
quite
was till
manageable.
March 2020.
Right. And after COVID, everything was cut down, people working from home, everything got a dynamo effect, transportation, logistics, prices. Good thing government came in and gave some money to support people. I am advocate and I am in favor of getting the vaccine. I just got my booster vaccine a few weeks ago. So everybody should get that. And us as the age we are, we should get it and protect
I've taken
ourselves.
6 vaccines.
Good. And me too, I've taken 6. 1 vaccine and 5 booster.
Wow.
So-
Yeah, 1 vaccine
Wow.
and 5 boosters. So
And that-
total, this was my 6th, which I took about 3 weeks ago.
So logistic got impact. Most of the manufacturing of the
Unit.
products and all that were coming from Asia, especially from China. So that got slowed down. The logistic got slowed down. Practically at one point, it was all completely halted. So nothing was coming. So what happened? The manufacturing didn't take place. The supply was limited. So supply got short. And it's economic thing, law of demand, law of supply, Father Maslow theory of the economics. When there's low supply and high demand, the prices goes up. So things start going up, and the businessmen start taking advantage of it. So prices went up, and post-pandemic, we lost some people, lost some lives, but we have to be very careful. We have to be very careful. So post-pandemic, yes, things went up.
Inflation is the biggest thing which is hurting everyone. The bank rate has gone to 5%. We have got still shortage of manpower is there in many industries, and there are still people are quite hard up.
True, I agree with you, but we are lucky to be in Canada. Canada is one of the very best and country that we are fortunate we live here and we can manage our things. And if we cannot manage, we have a social program who supports us.
That is true. And yesterday only it was in our national news that the inflation has gone down to 3.1%, which was 1 month earlier was 3.8.
True.
So it's a healthy sign, and we hope that by 2024, after finishing of the first quarter, our inflation rate, if touches at 2, will be back to normal.
Hopefully, keeping our finger crossed, but keep in mind our federal deficit almost hit $40 billion.
Yeah, that is very high,
Okay.
but that will take longer time to overcome. But if the things become little better, people can breathe,
True. So I see the prices going down. There are some price freezes. Federal government met with the high food industries manufacturers and the
Grocers.
suppliers and the grocers, and they have promised our government that they will control the prices.
But that was the initiative, we would not forget, was initiative of our opposition leader Jagmeet Singh of
True.
NDP.
Right. They're all working in a team. Regardless is NDP or conservative or liberals, they all have to think.
But we appreciate his initiative. He took the initiative and the government picked up from his initiative.
Common goal. These politicians or us politicians, we have to go and see and feel it, how deeper our pockets are and what can we afford and what can we do.
14. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, give us your views on the Liberals' massive tax that they have created large
Carbon
holes.
tax. She means
Carbon
carbon
tax.
What I
tax.
meant.
Yeah.
Carbon
with
tax.
them.
Carbon tax, if you look up on that, what's a carbon tax is? Carbon tax is that to control and to reduce the emission and the pollutions. I believe strongly the more you pollute, the more you should pay. Okay? The government imposed the carbon tax on gas, on oil. Not in Ontario, but in other provinces, or some interior Ontario and Quebec, people are still using oil energy heating.
In the furnace, yeah.
So furnace is consumer gas, it's a gas. But the oil heating, and when the government imposed the carbon tax of 14.5 cents or 63 cents on the heating oil, or 14.5 cents on an automobile gasoline, that was it did in a way indirectly it did not affect our pockets. The price of the gas went up. However, the government has come through a program called a climate incentive rebate. Everybody was getting it, but that was income geared. So if in a high tax bracket, you pump your gas, you were paying 14.5 cents tax, the carbon tax, but you were not getting your climate incentive. So government wants to reduce the emission by certain time. By 2050, they have said we're going to cut the emission to zero.
That's very nice of you to inform our viewers. But the carbon tax is really affecting our people, and it's our conservatives' main agenda that if we come to power, we will try to cut off the carbon tax altogether.
True. But then we also have to look that when you're polluting the environment and the climate change, how we're going to cut that. So then
They have to find venues to generate the funds.
The more you pollute, the more you pay. So we have to go back to these industries and business people. Okay, you polluting so much, this is your tax. You got to pay to clean up.
Mr. Rafiq Rokerya, because the time is quite running very fast, so we have got few more questions to ask you. To give us your views on the armed forces of Canada, which is we respect the armed forces a lot. Each and every Canadian is loyal to our armed forces, but at the same time, it is ill-equipped.
Canada is fortunate enough as a peace-loving country. We don't have any enemies.
Not anymore.
We have we don't have any exterior threats unless it's something terrorism and terrorism. But from the other countries, we have a neighboring country, our long-lasting, long time, the largest partner in trade, and also
our elder brother, we call him.
So So touch wood, we are very, very fortunate to be in Canada. We're a peace-loving country.
But
So we do not have that much budget, although we do spend the money on our armed forces, our Army, our Navy, our Air Force. I salute to them. They're doing a tremendous job. But also we have to gear up towards our security department.
you are very, very
Public
correct.
safety.
But in recent years, we feel that we are ill-equipped as far as the hardwares in the Air Force and the Navy is concerned. So now the time has come that the Canada should get hardware, modern warfare hardware.
I understand what you're saying and where you're coming from, but who are we going to fight with?
No, we
How
don't-
much have you used
But we are not
in
safe
150 years?
because we do keep peacekeeping missions.
That's
So
true.
we send our naval forces, we send our armed forces, even our air force is always ready, alert to guard the borders and to guard the region.
True. So I think we have to spend more money on our public security, public safety. Those are the most important things. Rather than we do not have any exterior threats except the terrorism.
Oh, go ahead. Number
Okay.
16.
We also read from your bio that you're a co-host of a radio show. Can you tell us some details on the purpose?
Classify it, what you did.
I
or who
was
it
a co-host, like exactly what you're doing. In the morning, it was hot like pepper. It was a radio show on 5:30 a.m. dial.
Wow, 5:30 a.m.
5:30 a.m. dial,
Dal.
and
Okay,
we were
okay.
doing at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
So I will pick up various shows, various subjects. I'll bring the subject matter experts to talk about it. We have done Islamic program. We have the budgeting program. Whatever the current affairs issue were, I will bring the subject expert and we'll talk about it and we deal with it. We promoted, children's educations, university graduate, how to conduct interviews, how to find jobs. And in fact, one of my volunteer, I missed to tell you guys that I was ambassador of CPA with University of Toronto, Mississauga campus and York University, where I will go and recruit and train final year graduate student to come and work for the federal government.
Thank you, Mr. Rafiq. Mr. Rokerya, please inform our viewers what are your views on high rate of gas. You must be aware that we have got about 18 refineries here in Canada. I've done a deep research about the refineries and even asked the same question to our elected MPs and MPPs. But up to this date, I could not got a satisfactory answer from them that Canada has got huge reserves of crude oil.
True.
Why our refineries are not refining for our own consumption, Canadian consumption?
This is all going back to basic economics, okay? And all these companies who own these refineries are business people, and they're out there to make money, profits. It's cheaper to ship the crude oil rather than the final refined product. So, and then also to ship, we are not equipped right now to export or ship the final product, which is the petroleum, the gas, because we don't have that infrastructure. Whereas with the crude oil, we do have it. And the prices have probably gone down. I don't know if you noticed.
Prices have not much. Still we are recorded at 1.45 per liter.
Right.
Average.
It's fluctuate. But see, it's all price manipulation, and these big companies, they're out there to make money. They're out there to profit.
People,
they huge profits. Okay, they're looking after their shareholders. They're not looking after the public.
No. But the thing is, the gas is a vital element. If the gas is at the higher, if supplied at higher rates, everything, every commodity gets expensive. So think in those terms that the Sarnia refinery, which is in Ontario, is only in production of 33%.
Like I said, it costs more money. We have to look up how much it costs and what is the world crude price we can sell it. If something is costing me $75, and if the Brent crude price is $63, you think I'm gonna produce? No, because my cost is more. I'll be losing my shirt. So I'm a businessman. Okay, I'm there out to make profit. So if my cost is $60 and I sell it for $63, yes, I will make it. But if it's above 63, my break-even point,
then nobody is going to go into the hassle.
This is the main reasons.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Are you also involved in the Eden Bank program here in Mississauga?
Food bank. She's.
I heard about them. I'm not involved. I'm involved with St. James Food Bank, which is in Tobico. Every Wednesday, we give them a free lunch, and we make sure there's a halal lunch because over there, the recipients who comes there, the 100+ families, we serve them a hot lunch. So at one point when
Very good.
they were coming, they were not eating. And when the lady asked, she said, "Why are you not eating?" She said, "It's not halal." So she approached to the community, and I was one of them. So we provide, and I cook myself sometime every Wednesday and bring the hot food for them. So they have a ration card. They will come eat their lunch. They will go with the ration card, 10 individually with the ration card based on the determination, and they'll pick up a milk or yogurt or rice or whatever, and then come out and they'll have a meal. They'll bring your family and bingo.
Thank you.
I would love to be involved with Eden Food in Mississauga
Yeah,
also.
because as you are aware that you are going to contest from a Mississauga Streetsville, our Eden Food Bank is the largest. And since many years, I've been associated with that Eden Food Bank, along with our MPs, MPPs, and we need duly your attention now
Definitely.
to work into it, because after the COVID situation, there are tremendous increase. The demand has increased, and the Eden Food Bank is struggling to survive.
True. In fact, thank you for bringing this attention. I'll speak to our mosque also, say the Khatija and Jamia Razul Jannah.
If they can look into
no,
Eden
because
Food Bank.
we collect the food, we collect the dry goods,
And sometimes if they are
items,
also given.
and we can bring those items which we collect to Eden Food.
Whatever you collect, Eden Food Bank has a very, very good transportation service. If you just contact them, they will come to your premises and take those food.
I will speak to the Imam and the authorities in the mosque and see what we can do.
And try to think about having a fundraising for Eden Food Bank.
Sure. Very good idea.
Go ahead.
On that note, we would like to sign off for this week's Voice of Canada with a brand new host. We'll see you next week.
Mr. Rafiq Rokerya, before we conclude this week's show with you, this episode of Voice of Canada, would you like to give some comments, remarks, or message?
I would like to thank Aspi and our co-host, Ms. Pollack. Thank you very much. And my viewers, listeners of Voice of Canada, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Remember, my name is Rafiq Rokerya, and I'm running as a federal candidate in the Streetsville riding as your next member of parliament. So please help us and make sure that we go there and we sit on the tables and we bring all the policies which we require and take your voice in the House of Commons. Thank you very much. God bless you.
With that note, we'll be soon ending our this week's show with Mr. Rafiq Rokerya. We wish you all the very best in the coming years for your elections and whatever you're aspiring in your heart to serve the communities. So whenever there is any urgent message or want to relay, contact us. We will definitely call you again.
Sure.
Because media plays a very vital role.
Thank you very much, Aspi and Ms. Pollack.
With that, we would say good night, goodbye. God bless Canada. God save our King.
Thank you.